Daniel chapter 1, lesson 2. Around 605 BC, maybe as early as 607 BC, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, began a series of attacks on the land of Judea. He besieged Jerusalem. Jehoiakim, king of Judea, southern kingdom, surrendered to him. Nebuchadnezzar left Jehoiakim as a vassal king. Daniel 1:1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, the king of Judea, came Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, to Jerusalem and besieged it. Nebuchadnezzar took some, not all, of the articles from the temple of God. Daniel 1:2. The Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judea, into his hands with part of the vessels of the house of God, and he carried them into the land of Shinar, the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. He also took some of the members of the royal family and of nobility back to Babylon. Daniel 1:3. The king spoke to Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring in a certain of the children of Israel, even of the seed royal and of the nobles. These were trained to enter the king's service. Daniel 1:4 and 5. Youths in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and endowed with knowledge and understanding science, and such as had an ability to stand in the king's palace, and that he should teach them the learning and the language of the Chaldeans. The king appointed for them a daily portion of the king's dainties, and of the wine which he drank, and they should be nourished 3 years, that at the end of it they should stand before the king. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were among those taken to Babylon very early in the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel 1:6-7. Now among these were the children of Judea, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The prince of the eunuchs gave names to them. To Daniel he gave the name Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael the name of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. Read 2 Kings chapter 24 and 25. Jehoiakim was left as vassal king under Nebuchadnezzar. After 3 years, Jehoiakim rebelled. The land of Judea underwent continual raids from surrounding peoples. Soon Jehoiakim died. Jehoiachin, his son, replaced him around 597 BC. Nebuchadnezzar returned in response to Jehoiakim's rebellion. He again laid siege to Jerusalem. Jehoiachin surrendered. He had reigned only 3 months. Nebuchadnezzar removed all of the remaining treasures from the temple of God. He took all of the people of the land captive, all except the poorest people of the land. Zedekiah, Jehoiachin's uncle, was made vassal king over the land. He rebelled after 9 years, around 589 BC. Nebuchadnezzar came for the last time and laid siege to the city. Jerusalem fell around 586 BC. Nebuchadnezzar had the city, the temple, and the walls destroyed. That was in the 19th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. Early in the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel was serving the royal court along with his friends. In preparation for service, they would train for 3 years. They were given a special diet and education. The diet was certainly not in line with the Jewish law. No doubt the food was part of portions sacrificed to Babylonian gods. Daniel 1:8. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the king's dainties, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Daniel petitioned the guard on behalf of himself and his Jewish friends. Daniel 1:9. Now God made Daniel to find kindness and compassion in the sight of the prince of the eunuchs. He wanted to have a simple diet that excluded meat and the royal wine. The guard was concerned. Daniel 1:10. The prince of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who has appointed your food and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse looking than the youths who are of your own age? So would you endanger my head with the king? Such a diet would certainly not be conducive to the health of the young men, but Daniel convinced the guard to give them a chance. Daniel 1:11-16. Then said Daniel to the steward, whom the prince of the eunuchs had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Prove your servants, I beg you, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our faces be looked on before you and the face of the youths who eat the king's dainties. And as you see, deal with your servants. So he listened to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. At the end of 10 days their faces appeared fairer, and they were fatter in flesh than all of the youths who ate the king's dainties. So the steward took away their dainties and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. God helped in the process. Daniel 1:17. Now as for these 4 youths, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. The young men thrived under the new diet. When we devote ourselves to God, He is faithful to help in our need according to His good purpose. Daniel 1:18-19. At the end of the days which the king had appointed for bringing them in, the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked with them, and among them was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. God worked in their lives to give them wisdom and understanding. Their training went well. They excelled among the wise men of Babylon. Daniel 1:20. In every matter of wisdom and understanding, concerning which the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the musicians and enchanters who were in all his realm. God gifted Daniel with the ability to understand visions and dreams. That would come in handy, as we will see very soon. Daniel 1:21. Daniel continued even to the first year of King Cyrus. The end of Lesson 2.